Right, so welcome back to another deck profile video. In today's video we are covering Xros Hearts, which is a deck profile provided by one of our local players. So a shout out to Dan for doing that. This deck profile sees quite consistent results in our local scene, which obviously goes with the experience of the player behind it. But yeah, we're going to dive straight in and we'll start, as always, with the Digi-Eggs. So the profile only runs 4 Digi-Eggs. In this case, it's Pikmons from BT10. It has an inherited effect of when attacking, if this Digimon has Xros Heart in its traits, it's draw 1. Unlike most eggs, it's not a once per turn. So that goes kind of hand in hand with some of the multiple swings that you can do later on in this deck, especially when you get to your level 5s and level 6s. Starting with our rookies, however, we got Shoutmon from BT19. It's on play as this Digimon may Digivolve into Omni Shoutmon from under your Tamers without paying the cost. Its on deletion effect is reveal the top 3 cards of the deck, and you can play 1 Tamer card with the Xros Heart trait among them without paying the cost, and then you return the rest to the bottom of the deck. Then you save. Its inherited effect is ultimately it gains Rush if it's a Xros Heart trait. The last of the rookies is another Shoutmon variant from BT21. Its your turn effect is ultimately if it would Digivolve into a Xros Heart trait or a hero trait, it can reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. Its on deletion effect is save, and its inherited effect is much like the previous Shoutmon. As long as it's a Xros Heart trait Digimon, it gains Rush on your turn, allowing you to essentially get that extra swing in. So moving on to our champions then, starting with Shoutmon King version from BT10. So its on play effect is that you may return 1 card with a Digi-Cross requirements from your trash to your hand. And then if you would Digi-Cross, you can use this Digimon as one of those Digi-Cross requirements. It also has material save 1, ultimately saving 1 of your materials. And its inherited effects that when it would be a Shoutmon in name, it gets an additional 2000 DP. Shooting Starmon is the next one from BT19. All turns, once per turn, when any of your Xros Heart trait Digimon are played, until the end of your opponent's next turn, give one of their Digimon security attack -1 and -3000 DP. On deletion, you can place either a Xros Heart or Blue Flare trait Digimon card from your hand or trash underneath one of your Tamers. And in inherited wise, it's when attacking once per turn, but if it's got the Xros Heart trait, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -2000 DP for the turn. Next up, Raptor Sparrowmon from BT19. On play when Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of the deck, and you can add either a Xros Heart or Blue Flare trait Digimon card among them to your hand, and then you trash the rest. On deletion, much like the Shooting Starmon, it's exactly the same. Xros Heart or Blue Flare trait Digimon from hand or trash, put it underneath one of your Tamers. In this case, however, the inherited effect is as long as it's got a Xros Heart trait, it gains Collision. Moving on to the ultimate level Digimon then, so we got Jaeger Darulamon. On play when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then until the end of their turn, one of their Digimon can't activate when Digivolving effects or unsuspend. On deletion, much like the champions you just seen, you either place a Xros Heart or a Blue Flare trait Digimon card from your hand or trash underneath one of your Tamers, and in this case its inherited effect, as long as it's got Xros Heart, it gains Piercing. Next up we've got Atla Ballistamon from BT19. It's on play when Digivolving is until the end of your opponent's turn. One of your Digimon can't be returned to the hand or deck by your opponent's effects, and it gets 3000 DP. On deletion, much like the other cards you've seen, Xros Heart or Blue Flare trait from your hand or trash, you can place it underneath one of your Tamers, and in this case the inherited effect, as long as it's the Xros Heart trait Digimon, on your opponent's turn it gains Blocker. For the last of the ultimates, we got Omni Shoutmon from BT21. Its end of attack effect is that you may play either a Xros Heart, Blue Flare or hero trait card, Digimon card rather, from your hand with the play cost reduced by 5, and if you did, you delete this Digimon. On deletion, much like the rest, Xros Heart or Blue Flare trait Digimon from your hand or trash, you place it underneath one of your Tamers, and in this case, however, you then save. Also, it gives your Cross Heart trait Digimon Rush on your turn with its inherited effect. Shoutmon at EX6 is our first set of megas in this deck. It comes with Alliance, Reboot, Material Save 4. On play for each of the colours in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, the opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for the turn. Then you can play a Shooting Starmon from underneath one of your Tamers without paying the cost. When attacking, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with either as much or less DP as this Digimon. There is a one-off of Seed Greymon in this deck from BT19. It comes with on play and when Digivolving, Digivolve 2, one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, you may return one of their level 4 or lower Digimon to the hand. On deletion, you may play one Blue Flare or Cross Heart trait Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less from underneath your Tamers without paying a cost, then save. Its all turns inherited effect is this Digimon gets plus 2000 EP. The last two megas for the deck are Shoutmon DX from BT21. Comes with Security Attack +1. On play and when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's lowest DP Digimon. And in all turns, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, you may place up to 4 Cross Heart or Blue Flare trait Digimon cards from its Digivolution cards underneath one of your Tamers. So it's a good means of being able to save if it's not deleted through other variations of removal. In terms of the level 7s, he's running 2 Chaosmon Valdemarms from BT20. It comes with Security Attack +1, Partition. When Digivolving for each of the level 6 Digimon cards in its sources, you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and gain 1 memory. And then none of their Digimon or Tamers can activate on-play effects until the end of their turn, or unsuspend. Moving on to our Tamers then, so there are 4 Taikis from BT10. It's on play as a reveal the top 4 cards of the deck, and you can add 1 card with Cross Hearts in its traits among them to your hand, and then place another one with similar traits underneath this Tamer, and then you place the rest at the bottom of the deck. So your turn effect is that when you would play one Digimon with Digi-Cross requirements, by suspending this Tamer, you may place cards from under your Tamers as Digivolution cards for a Digi-Cross. The next 2 of is Taiki, Kiria and Nene from BT11. Start of main phase by placing 1 Digimon card with Cross Hearts or Blue Flare in its traits from your hand underneath this Tamer, gain 1 memory and draw 1. Your turn, when you would play a Digimon card with Digi-Cross requirements, you can suspend this Tamer to place cards from underneath your Tamers as Digivolution cards for that Digi-Cross. Security effect, as always with Tamers, you just play it out without paying the cost. Just a one-off of Taiki from BT19, essentially the memory setter for this deck, as you'll always start at 3 memory. Its all turns effects, much like the previous 2 Tamers revealed, is that you would ultimately, suspend this Tamer to use any of your sources underneath any of your Tamers as part of a Digi-Cross requirement when you play using Digi-Cross effects. The last 3 Tamers for the deck is Taiki from BT21. It's got a start of main phase effect by placing 1 Digimon card with a Cross Heart, Blue Flare or Hero trait among them from your hand. Under this Tamer you get to draw 1 and gain 1 memory. Its your turn effect is also when your Digimon are played or Digivolve if any of them have the Cross Heart trait or Hero trait. By suspending this Tamer, one of them may attack. Similarly, security effect, you just play this out without paying a cost. Moving on to our option cards then, we've got 2 copies of Meteor Rock Soul from BT19. Its main effect is that you activate one of the following effects. Either you may play 1 Cross Heart trait Digimon card with 4000 DP or less from under your Tamers without paying the cost, or by unsuspending one of your Shoutmon EX6 and one of your Shooting Starmon, one of your Digimon may attack a player. Security effect wise is that you may play a Cross Heart trait with 4000 DP or less from under your Tamers without paying the cost. There is a one-off of Can't Turn My Back from BT21. Essentially, the main effect is that you place all Digimon cards in one of your Cross Heart trait Digimon Digivolution cards under one of your Tamers. Then you may play 1 Digimon card with the Cross Heart trait from your hand, with the play cost reduced by 1 for each card this effect placed. Separately, security effects that you may play 1 Cross Heart trait with a play cost of 5 or less from your hand, or trash without paying the costs. So the final 3 cards for the deck are Sepia Memory Boosts. In short, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can add 1 black or yellow Digimon card among them to your hand, and then you return the rest to the bottom of the deck, and then you place this card in your battle area. Much like all other memory boosts, there is a second main effect, which is a delay effect of gaining 2 memory, and security effect just simply allows you to place this in the battle area. Right, and so the 50 card deck profile should now be on the screen. Feel free to copy and paste it and tweak it to your heart's content. Another shout out to Dan for obviously providing the profile and being extremely consistent with this deck during our local scenes. It's always a top 3 contender. But as always, thank you for watching and take care.